With a city as its backdrop, the movie opens in the year 1905. We see a magician by the name of Oz, who performs small tricks where he used to work for a circus. He used to use his fake love to get more girls than his magic, which suggests that he wasn't a very good magician. He performs his trick, tosses a girl into the air, and as the audience watches, a girl comes up to him. She asks, "Could you please fix my feet because I'm paralyzed?" He becomes quiet when he hears this because he is unable to fix it. After realizing that he is quiet, everyone rags and begins to criticize him. They leave as well, and later a bodybuilder approaches to beat him up. He was furious at him because Oz had tried to trap his wife. He counters him with a few crafty moves, but he can't hold out for very long. He boards an air balloon, but the man cuts the cord to the balloon to seize him. The balloon begins to fly quickly as the winds pick up, and after a while, a powerful storm moves toward that region. As a dangerous storm approaches and engulfs him, Oz begins to scream. He turns to God in prayer, and eventually things return to normal. After a while, he reached a unique and beautiful world. Soon after, he fell into a stream, and while he was there, a girl by the name of Theodora arrived. She was a witch, and he asked her, "What beautiful place is this? I have never heard of it before." She explains to him that this region is referred to as the Land of Beauty. Later, after pulling off a trick, Oz gives her a lovely flower, and she enjoys it while being astounded by his magic. She informs Oz that there is a witch's black shadow in this place. Once our king foretold that a human would fly to us and would be a magician. His name will be Oz, and he will defend us from that witch. He says that I'm the magician named Oz. Meanwhile, some horrible noises started to be heard, and these were the sounds of dangerous animals that the witch had sent. They seek refuge in a cave to avoid them, and after performing tricks, he impresses her. She began to like him, and they were preparing to go to another city. On the way, they see a flying monkey that was in trouble at the time because he was tangled. Theodora asks him to assist the monkey, but a lion shows up and Oz sends him away with his tricks. The monkey becomes cheerful and guaranteed Oz that he will without a doubt help him any time in his life. The monkey likewise goes along with them, and at last, they show up at the palace. Theodora lives there with her sister. At the point when Oz was absent, Theodora let her sister know that Oz is the magician who will kill the bad witch and will safeguard them. Hearing this, her sister ends up being furious while saying, "I don't believe that he is that magician. I think he is a voracious man. He has come here in search of gold and a lofty position." Theodora's sister deliberately shows him the palace's fortune, which is a huge amount of gold. She illuminates him that he will get the entirety of the gold and high position if he goes to the dark woods where the hazardous witch lives and defeat her by breaking her mystical stick. He concurs since he believes all that to be straightforward and takes the monkey with him to the backwoods. Oz noticed flying smoke coming from a spot and that this spot has been obliterated. He hears cries and after checking sees a doll. She lets them know that a risky witch sent her warriors to that area and they additionally annihilated this entire region. He then sees the doll's broken foot and utilizes the paste to fix it. As the doll was separated and doesn't have anybody known to her, she subsequently goes along with them as they draw nearer to the dim woods. The dim woods was a horrendous wilderness since haziness encompassed its four sides. Afterward, they sense something there that is watching out for them and chasing after them. These were hazardous trees that assaulted them, but they figure out how to move away securely from that point with extraordinary trouble. Furthermore, after progressing forward, they see a very old manor, and afterward a shadow showed up which was of the risky witch. She goes to open the door, and that is the reason she abandons her otherworldly stick. Since Oz needs this stick, he asks the monkey to redirect the witch. According to the monkey's peculiar sounds, and the witch considers him and he takes her mysterious stick. The witch moved toward him and the three were frightened in the wake of watching her. The witch here bears her face, and we see that she isn't either dreadful or perilous. All things considered, she was a wonderful witch who presented herself as Glinda. At the point when Oz sees his magnificence, he gets stunned, and Glinda tells him that I'm a decent witch as opposed to a risky witch. Theodora's sister is the riskiest witch. She has a privileged position, and she tricks everybody with this untruth. Glinda tells Oz that Theodora's sister had poisoned her dad and she later blamed her for being an insidious witch who likewise killed her dad. Afterward, I discovered that she'd done this all to get the Lord's high position. The real insidious witch Theodora's sister is seen on the contrary side. She was watching this all from a gem and became battered, but in the meantime, her sister Theodora shows up. She becomes glad to see Oz with Glinda and that he'll kill her now. Here, her sister doesn't come clean with her and she misleads her sister Theodora. She makes up the story that Oz is a terrible man who tries to play with each young lady. He had recently attempted to trap me, and presently he is doing likewise with the witch Glinda. At the point when Theodora hears this, she becomes worn out and begins crying. The sister of Theodora sends her army to annihilate Glinda and Oz. Glinda accepts that Oz is a genuine musician, so she asks him to fight with risky animals sent by the risky witch. The Oz's stunts were not adequately powered to send this military back and he requests his companions to escape. The multitude of the armies encompasses them, so they can't escape further. Glinda scatters smoke all over the place and as they stop hearing their sounds, they consider that the army has gone. The military animal ultimately slid from the air and went after them. They again escaped and Glinda teaches them to leap off the mountain. She again utilizes her enchantment and saves them all with an air pocket. She starts to lead them toward her realm. This kingdom was shielded from the risky witch because of wizardry. In this kingdom, only those with good natures who are great and legitimate can enter. At the point when Oz hears this, he is alarmed because he knows that neither he is great nor has a good nature. Afterward, he still enters the realm and got stunned. They were invited by countless individuals in Glinda's realm and everybody regarded Oz because they were thinking about him as the magician. Afterward, Oz confesses to Glinda that I'm not the magician you all were looking for. She replies, I am mindful of your weakness and self-centeredness. They are individuals who have been hanging tight to the magician for a long time. They're cheerful and I don't have any desire to demolish the expectation that they had. She requests Oz to lie that he is the musician. Theodora was on the opposite side, seeing everything, and flies off the handle when she sees their content. As her sister notices her state, she chooses to transform her into an abhorrent witch like her. She gives her a green apple to eat and she transforms into a startling green witch after eating it. On the opposite side, Glinda decides with Oz that he needs to persuade everyone that they can battle the insidious witch. The enchanted that was safeguarding them progressively starts to break and a fireball then strikes that region. Theodora rises from it with her new and perilous appearance. She immediately attacks Oz but Glinda stops her. Theodora warns them that soon, my sister and I alongside our military will show up to have an assault on all of you. She leaves in the wake of terrifying compromising them all. All of the innocent individuals begin to escape from that point and Oz also prepares to leave because the malicious sister's main target was him. In the meantime, he remembers the creator of light and afterward begins concocting a game plan on the most proficient method to overcome the fiendish sisters. Oz moves toward every one of the great individuals and demands that they all prepare a gadget that can show a picture with movements. On the opposite side, the sisters have coordinated a military attack. Oz had made the device with people and he requests the head to make an air balloon. He demands that you won't confess to this anybody since it is something mysterious. Oz goes to one more city for certain individuals while Glinda has participated in the battle with the multitude of sisters. She spreads the smoke around her realm and people from Glinda are planning to go after the smoke. Witch sisters were also ready to assault them with their army of animals. Later, it uncovers that there were mannequins in that smoke instead of people. There are a few blossoms that have poison inside and given this toxin, the animals start to black out. Glinda's kin becomes pleased, however 2 animals before long show up and take Glinda. Theodora's sister first purposes her sorcery and tosses her mysterious stick. At the point when the doll sees the mysterious stick, she takes it immediately. The bad witch carries Glinda to her town and afterward, she was going to kill her before everybody. When Oz begins to leave in the wake of seeing this present circumstance, Theodora catches his sight while running. Afterward, she shows the town inhabitants that their magician is a genuine defeatist and narrow-minded. He is escaping and leaving all of you in this difficult situation. Afterward, Theodora utilizes fire to strike the air balloon and it falls. The abhorrent sisters consider that everything has been annihilated and they have won. A colossal blast happens, and everybody accepts Oz as dead but in the meantime he furtively comes there. Whatever happened till now was the arrangement made by him and later, he plays out his last stunt and switches out the lights individually. With the assistance of the gadget that they've made, the picture shows as if he is the real magician. The picture of Oz appallingly hollers at the sisters and they become terrified to see it. Their gatekeepers assault the picture with their poles but it stays safe. The doll approaches Glinda and gives her the supernatural stick. Meanwhile, Oz looks for pardoning from Theodora and he tells her that you can live with us in the wake of turning into a decent witch. She disagrees and while snickering and ridiculing him leaves from that point. Oz becomes battered and he attacks her, subsequently, she dies there. On the other hand, while fighting with Theodora's sister, Glinda finds her locket and crushes it with her hands, resulting in Theodora's sister becoming old and getting killed by Glinda. At last, a scene is shown where Glinda was telling a story about him and finally, the magician named Oz saved them from risky witches. The movie ends here. Thanks for watching and click on next movie recap displayed on the screen.